Coming up on Focal Point.
Find out what this internet celebrity thought of some East Lansing pizza favorites.
I'll tell you about how the theater department is back to doing in-person classes.
I'll be telling you how 2 restaurants in East Lansing made the adjustment to the reopening of dining.
We all count on a few snow days during the winter, but what happens when classes move online? And we'll have the latest on MSU's efforts to keep the community safe with more in-person classes and more students living on campus. Focal Point starts now.
Hello and good afternoon, I'm Sade Moore.
And I'm Katie Schroeder. Welcome to Focal Point. Michigan State University's spring semester started almost a month ago. Since then, there has been a slight decrease in COVID cases, both on campus and in Ingham County. In Ingham County, there are currently 15,168 cases. On Michigan State's campus, we have seen a drop in cases with a total of 3,311 since July 27th. For weekly MSU COVID case updates, go to msu.edu and navigate to the Testing and Reporting tab for the latest numbers.
Is still one of the main goals here at Michigan State, which is why a few weeks back the university issued an enhanced distancing order to help protect their on-campus students. Focal Point's Olivia Santelli tells us how students are managing their lives and their new home in the midst of a pandemic.
A campus fit for 50,000 people, now seemingly lifeless. But for Michigan State students like Grant Gattoni, that empty campus is now home.
It's my first time really being out on my own.
The start of the spring semester offered 2,500 more students on campus housing. Freshman Jordan Morrell moved to campus with hopes to get a taste of the university experience.
And now that I'm here, I have my own schedule, I'm in charge of myself, I get all my work done.
Although the freshman experience isn't exactly normal, living on campus has offered students the ability to
be more independent and get this sort of like being out there on our own.
Lily Artakis moved on campus in August, but the difference now is
I've met more people in the dorms, which is kind of nice because before, it was a ghost town.
More students back on campus also means more risk when it comes to the COVID pandemic. In efforts to mitigate that risk, Michigan State University placed an enhanced social distancing order on all on-campus living.
We had to make a decision to keep the entire campus community safe.
The order didn't come as a shock to students, though.
But sort of given that was eventually going to happen.
I figured something like this would happen.
Hopes are still staying high.
There's always a little bit of a silver lining somewhere.
Especially when you get a little creative.
What a lot of people have done is they've stuck their Snapchats or their Instagrams onto their doors. And so I've gotten to know a lot of the guys on our floor just through texting them and stuff like that.
For most,
being here has actually really helped.
The distance has offered students a chance to slow down and adjust to living on their own. In East Lansing, I'm Olivia Santelli for Focal Point News.
The social distancing order expired on February 13th, but the university is examining things on a week-by-week basis.
Those students living in dorms, as well as students coming to campus for in-person classes, are required to take a saliva test every week. Focal Point's Claire Heisey takes us inside the lab where technicians are working hard for the Spit Kit program.
In the MSU Early Detection Lab, technicians are hard at work, labeling, preparing, and stuffing spit kits for Spartans still left on campus.
We're the factory as well as the lab. So, given week, we're looking at 8,000 to 10,000 kits produced per week.
Michigan State reports that there are 2,500 students still left on campus. They're required to take a spit test weekly. For some, that's a new experience, but for sophomore Cooper Burton, who lives here at McDonald Hall, this new experience is his new norm.
I started spit kits when I first moved on campus in August. The first semester they were optional, so you could just do it if you wanted to. But then this semester they made it mandatory. So I've been doing them the whole time that I've lived on campus here. I just go to Owen Hall and pick up a kit, and then I take it back to my room, and it's a really easy process. You just scan a little QR code, you spit into the vial, shake it up a little bit, and then you log the vial code on your phone, online, and then you just go drop it off.
And with several pickup and drop-off locations set up around campus, lab techs are ensuring the safety of every Spartan with each test.
I really enjoyed the program, gives me peace of mind, makes me feel a lot better to be around students and different staff knowing that I'm negative coming into work.
Lab technicians receive about 15 to 2,500 tests per day.
Just in this semester, we've tested about 45,000 samples.
In East Lansing, I'm Claire Heisey with Focal Point News.
It is recommended that students drop off their spit kits before 1 p.m. to receive the results back by the next day. However, spit kits that are dropped off on Fridays and Saturdays won't be collected until 1 p.m. on Sunday.
Whether you are vegan, vegetarian, or just looking to eat a bit healthier, Lansing is now home to its very first plant-based restaurant. Despite the challenges that many businesses faced this year due to the pandemic, Vegan was able to grow its business from a food truck to a more permanent spot on the edge of Old Town Lansing. The menu features full vegan meals that can be ordered online and picked up at the drive-thru window. Owner Christabel Dozman says she is extremely thankful for the support of the community.
Just hearing about, the fact that there is a new place that's dedicated to vegetarian and vegan food is huge. So we've had tons of support. It's awesome to see all the social media pages and the reviews going, so it means a lot.
Vegan is only available for pickup, but hopes to be open for dine-in soon. Taylor Gattoni is live today on Restaurant Row in East Lansing. The Peanut Barrel is an institution on Grand River Ave. Taylor, are restaurants, including the iconic spot you're standing in front of now, back to normal?
Sade, Governor Whitmer issued a new executive order at the beginning of this month, allowing restaurants to reopen their doors at 25% capacity. However, their reopening comes with other protocols to protect their customers and keep everyone safe.
Just lettuce. We're open and we're ready for anybody that wants to come visit us.
Joe Bell has learned a lot about patience.
We really don't know what to expect yet.
And he hopes it's about to pay off. He's owned the Peanut Barrel and East Lansing institution for 40 years.
Yeah, I know.
Even if he has to keep the crowd to much less than full,
At 25%.
he's happy he's open again. Just like Brian Ponke, a couple blocks away at Hopcat.
The first week we had really good sales last week, and the takeout sales are really just continuing. So
Nice to go back to somewhat of something that's normal.
they're asking that all guests wear masks at all times.
That's a QR menu where you can use your phone to pull up our menu.
Of course, restaurant life is different for now.
We also have a contact tracing form that we're asking them to do when they walk inside. The tables are more spaced out.
You are not seeing large crowds.
With having a maximum of 6 per table and
sanitizing every hour.
They're taking every measure.
Anything we can do to make sure our guests and our staff are safe.
Joe and Brian want to keep their customers safe
And happy. It's what they do. And if they can serve their customers a little bit of comfort in pandemic times, well, then they're up for that.
I think there's still people that are nervous and they're not ready to come inside yet. And when they are, we'll be here.
We reopened because we missed our guests.
They'll be there, most likely serving a signature burger and bringing a side of joy.
Joe and Brian will continually enforce CDC guidelines with the hopes that the state will soon increase indoor dining capacities. Hey Sade, have you been to any restaurants since the reopening?
Yeah, actually I went to Barrio last week with my roommates. The short rib tacos are really good. Okay, thanks Taylor. Katie?
Restaurants aren't the only ones trying to get back to normal. Other businesses are also climbing back on the saddle too. Coronavirus cases are dipping after spikes earlier this year. That's good news for local businesses. Safety protocols, including increased social distancing, mandatory masking, and limited customer capacities, will continue. In addition to indoor dining at restaurants, retail stores, salons, and movie theaters will continue to stay open, making workers very happy.
come back to NCG because, you know, we missed it after the quarantine over like 6 to 7 months. And for the most part, everybody came back in high spirits, and we're all ready to serve the neighborhood again, basically, you know.
For more information on other types of businesses reopening, go to www.michigan.gov/coronavirus.
Although some businesses are reopening, others are coming down. The former Big B location on Grand River was demolished last week after the coffee shop moved across the street to a new location. This was the site of the first Big B before it expanded into franchises across the country. The building has been empty for several months, but DTN Management, who owns the site, is clearing it for new development. Big B founder Bob Fish reflects on his first store.
Super sentimental. When we first opened, there was like a grassy spot next door. Now the road goes through, and I used to love, you know, people would come in and get drinks, and people bring blankets and stuff like that and go lay out on the lawn.
The building has a long history in East Lansing. Big B occupied the site since 1995 when the store was originally named as a play on coffee beans. But the company changed it in an effort to be more racially sensitive, using the large letter B in their original logo to create Big B. The building was built in the 1950s as an Arby's restaurant.
Businesses have really suffered in the pandemic, but folks are resilient and creative. Focal Point's Darren Baydoun went underground for this next story where he found a new way to shop.
In the heart of East Lansing, along MAC Avenue, the down in downtown no longer means just going downtown, but going down underground, inside the MAC parking garage, past the fields of empty spaces and random cars, to a basement plowed over with the new East Lansing Winter Farmers Market. Part of the Daytime, Nighttime, Anytime Place project, this new market, organized by manager Kayla Forrest Hewitt, aims to generate support in local businesses while still keeping people safe and following COVID-19 guidelines.
I really would like for this to be an opportunity for them to meet or engage with local vendors, local entrepreneurs, and to get really good products.
Products like hot sauce from the Grand Traverse Sauce Company and vendor Brian Zuzga say that the experience has been a unique one.
And it's interesting. I like it, you know. It's kind of got a different feel. I love the lights that they put together and the different, seating areas. And the vendors have been out here and the crowds have been great.
The farmers market will run every 2 weeks, with the last date it'll run being on May 9th of this year. But both vendors and customers think that this is the kind of event that could go on for a long time, whether COVID is around for it or not.
It gives something that you can look forward to, bring your family out, and just be a part of your community no matter what the season is.
This might have just been testing the water for the first time, but I think once this picks up, that it'll be a really popular event.
Reporting from East Lansing, Darren Baydoun, Focal Point News.
The market will be open again on February 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Gonna have to check that place out.
Pretty interesting, and so is this. Coming up on Focal Point, we'll give you a front row ticket to the Warren Center. Sort of. It's now more of a classroom while the...
And I'm Hikaru Kudo. You're looking at a live shot from East Lansing where traffic is moving well and the sun is out. But will we need a shovel again this weekend? We'll have that full weather forecast coming up right here on Focal Point.
When do we give up? When do we just close our eyes and say, that's it? This water's too polluted. This disease too far along. To a Spartan, the answer is simple. Never. Because Michigan State was founded on the belief that our purpose is to make the world a better place. And when you're open to unconventional thinking, you value people's differences and are willing to work harder, push farther, and forge true partnerships. Then and only then can you solve the world's toughest problems. Better, faster. Like renewable energy, clean water, Parkinson's disease, and fighting malaria. Things Spartans work on every single day, all without fanfare. because we know our true triumph lies in the impact we make on the world around us. And after all, if we don't do it, who will? Spartans will.
We all woke up Tuesday morning to what some may call a winter wonderland, or for others, a winter nightmare. Snowplows from all across town couldn't clear roads, sidewalks, and parking lots fast enough after a major winter snowstorm blasted into East Lansing Monday night. Some areas saw up to 8 inches of snow, forcing residents like Matt England to get creative to get their day started.
It's been a rough one, and I just had to shovel my parking spot. I wasn't parked here in the morning, and so I shoveled it with not a shovel, but with the only thing I could get, a broom and a dustpan. So
Did say he would be going to buy a real shovel Tuesday night, but the question now is, will he have to use that brand new shovel this week? Hopefully a quieter weekend. Hikaru Kudo is here with the weather. How's it looking?
Well, hopefully he won't need that shovel, but definitely we can almost guarantee that it's not going to be as 3 feet as we talked about earlier. Let's take a look at the national weather map right here. Detroit's currently at 24 degrees. Look at the East Coast here from Boston all the way down. You're looking at all scattered showers. And down here in Florida, 81 degrees, 77 degrees. You Floridans are used to that, right? Take a look at the West Coast right here. A little bit chillier side. We're looking at, again, 40s and 50s around that side. Texas, let's talk about Texas real quickly. Houston, 37, Dallas, 29. That's a little bit different from what we have been seeing, as we know that earlier last week we were looking at, this week, we were looking at very cold, frigid temperatures. There is a winter weather advisory until 9 a.m. Central Standard Time over for those folks in Texas, so please be careful out there. Pipes are bursting and those reports are still coming in. Taking a look at the Midwest now, Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids, all in the mid-20s. And really I want to mention out here on all the way on the west side of the Midwest area, Minneapolis, 14 degrees. So again, little chilly temperatures and conditions going on in the Midwest. Current conditions outside now here specifically for us, East Lansing right behind me, 22 degrees. Grand Rapids, 22 degrees. Detroit, 23 degrees. Right around that area. Showers and or sunny weather expected. And finally, that 7-day forecast. Let's take a look right here. And like I said, Sade, on Friday, so tonight you're going to get some PM snow showers. It'll be a little bit warm on Saturday. But then Sunday and Monday, you're going to see some snow, followed by a stagger back and forth. So again, not as much as we saw this past week. However, with that being said, still have that snow shovel ready to go and that snow scraper's ready to go in case you might need to scrape some ice off your car.
Snow days are always part of a Michigan school year, but what happens to them when students are learning from home? Reagan Holgate tells us that snow days may be a thing of the past for some districts.
A year of change and adapting to a new routine.
That's where I think kids have felt it the worst, is the isolation.
A routine without going to school.
It's been weird because most of the time I'm not really paying attention.
Riley Lesko is talking about not paying attention to schoolwork, not sledding.
It's just a strange way to teach.
Mary Maloney teaches high school. She feels isolated too.
You have to be able to see the kids and you have to be able to talk to them and get close to them. And
you would think living in Michigan in the winter would have its perks. Cold weather and a lot of snow would mean a few days off from school. But in a virtual world, snow days might be a thing of the past.
As a kid and even as a teacher, don't you look forward to them?
Waiting for the phone to ring.
I've heard some districts say that they're not going to have them anymore, and I just think that's wrong.
Now never getting that call is another bitter disappointment.
Snow days really are the excitement of those wonderful days have been shrunk quite a bit since we've been in this format.
Virtual school means no snow days in East Lansing.
It's a rite of passage. You have to have snow days.
No sleeping in or sledding with friends.
I would imagine it's just another sort of bummer part of this pandemic.
Patiently waiting until they are back learning in person.
Some of that return to normalcy will feel real good once we're back.
Hopefully soon Frosty will have his friends back, button nose and all. In East Lansing, Reagan Holgate, Focal Point News.
Lansing Public Schools are transitioning back into face-to-face learning in the next few weeks. This may be one of the rare years when students and teachers would prefer not to have a snow day. Lots of folks want to get back into the classroom. While some elementary and high schools are planning in-person learning, college classes mostly remain online. There is a small percentage of classes who meet face-to-face on Michigan State's campus. Sam Britton is live at the Wharton Center to tell us about one such class.
We won't be rid of COVID-19 for a little while yet, but it's safe to say that these in-person classes are back, and students, well, they're giving it a standing ovation.
Normally, still selling your pictures of the scriptures.
Finding Alex Cousins singing numbers from Kiss Me Kate in the auditorium wouldn't be surprising. But in the middle of a pandemic, it's a rare sight.
It feels like a normal semester of college again.
Math and history aren't too difficult to do on Zoom, but singing and dancing, well, the department felt the need to make an exception this semester.
Like a show that's typically Schuberty. Where is the fun?
Michigan State theater majors Alex Cousins and Quentin Nottage have stepped out of the Zoom class and back into a real rehearsal space.
It's just nice to be back and being around people. Like, even though we can see it, it's so different. Like Zoom versus in person, it's so different.
Is this home?
Look at the walls.
Professor Brad Wilcuts.
So here we go, starting from the top. Go back to the window.
Notices a change in energy.
I've heard a couple of them, kind of like giggling to themselves, like after classes, like, oh, I needed that.
The biggest thing about our major, is connecting with another person.
Naturally, there are some restrictions.
We also have masks that are clear. You can see the student, expressing with their face through their acting.
Every week we have to do the Spartan spit test. Luckily we have this huge space, we can be 6 feet apart.
But even with the safety measures,
I am dripping in sweat and I think I'm going to change to my second mask.
Everyone seems to be happy, including students who prefer the theatrics at home for now. Even after 2 grueling hours of dance, a few mask changes, and a water break, Quentin and Alex are satisfied to be back in person.
Feeling good and calm now that class is over. It's the end of my day starting at 9 a.m. So, hey, a day in the life, right?
Theater isn't the only department to return to in-person classes, but it makes sense that classes like acting and dancing were among the first to get back into the classrooms. Hopefully we'll see more students back in person soon, Sade.
Thanks, Sam. He's known as one of the nicest and friendliest students on the Michigan State campus, and because he needs help, a GoFundMe page already has close to $250,000 in it. Michael Zyrich is the vice president of the Sigma Nu fraternity. He was complaining of headaches and neck pain when he was admitted to Sparrow Hospital last week. Doctors found a brain bleed and took him into emergency surgery. Doctors say Michael has a condition called AVM, arteriovenous malformation. They also found an aneurysm around his spinal cord. Zyrich has been transferred to the University of Michigan Neurology Unit, where he is in intensive care there. The good news, that GoFundMe page has been set up to help cover the massive hospital bills and help with his recovery. An amazing $213,000 has been pledged already.
Zyrich is just like one of the happiest guys that I know. And like when I first got into snow, he was one of my first friends, and he's just like one of the warmest people that you'll meet in general. And that's what I keep telling everybody, is just like how great of a person that he was and how he this does not deserve to happen to him.
Doctors say they haven't seen a condition like Michael's in 15 years, and that it's very rare. Michael will go through his 3rd surgery today in an attempt to shut down the aneurysm. Coming up, East Lansing had a special guest visiting its most famous pizza places. Focal Point's Brianna Idzior walks us through Barstool's reviews of the pizza that East Lansing runs on.
I'm Leah Mitchell. Coming up in sports, we'll have highlights from MSU basketball and hockey, plus a soccer season preview. All that after the break.
A Spartan. The relentless drive to turn question marks into exclamation points. Believing that we are strong as one, but extraordinary together. And it's our impact that matters most. What makes us Spartan is what's inside. The commitment to something bigger. Because the world never stops asking, who will? Spartans will. What makes a Spartan a Spartan? The relentless drive to turn question marks into exclamation points. Believing that we are strong as one, but extraordinary together. And it's our impact that matters most. What makes us Spartan is what's inside, the commitment to something bigger. Because the world never stops asking, who will? Spartans will.
Welcome back to Focal Point. I'm Leah Mitchell with this week's sports. From walk-on under Tom Izzo to multi-millionaire and now the largest individual donor in MSU history, United Wholesale Mortgage CEO Matt Ishbia has donated $32 million to MSU athletics. $20 million of that total will go to reconstructing the Scandalera Center where the football team trains. The program plans to expand the weight room, remodel lockers, and add a dining and nutrition area. Ishbia said it was his time as a Spartan and playing under Coach Izzo that got him where he is today.
To the teachers, professors I've had here, to the students and friends I made, to my teammates, and of course the coaches, and specifically Coach Izzo.
Ishbia requested that the expansion of the Scandalera Center and the basketball court at Breslin be named after Izzo. After last week's loss to Iowa, Izzo and the Spartans hit the hardwood on the road against Purdue on Tuesday night. We start in the first. Freshman A.J. Holgart to the cup and he finishes as he hits the deck. Holgart with lots of extra minutes as Rocket Watts was out sick for this one. To the second we go. Julius Marble gets it off the pick and roll, finger roll finish, and the foul. MSU still chasing for most of the game. How about this feed from Ivy to Williams for Purdue? The Spartans would never catch up and fall by 10, 65-75 in West Lafayette. Coach Izzo still trying to find answers.
You go 1 week, you play Iowa, you guard the three and you kill you inside. The next week you guard inside, they kill you from the three. And tonight we thought we'd do a little bit of both, and it just didn't work out.
Things don't get any easier for the Spartans as they pack up for a road game against Indiana on Saturday. After a stretch of 3 losses in a row, MSU hockey took to the ice inside Monday night to try and snap the streak. Danton Cole and the Spartans were looking to split the series with Arizona State after losing in wild fashion to the Sun Devils the night before. Late first period, Spartans on the attack. Aiden Gallagher tries to send one towards the goal. And don't blink, but Jagger Joshua is there for the putback to get the score. MSU up 1-0. Second period now, Arizona State on the power play, and the Sun Devils have a little tic-tac-toe action before Demetrius Kamonzis sends it home to tie the game, 1-1. Final 5 minutes of the game now, and Michigan State didn't want to lose this one. Joshua gets stopped trying to get his second of the night, but Nico Mueller is there to get the goal. ASU wanted goaltender interference, but Michigan State gets the score. The Spartans get the dub 2-1 for their 7th win of the year.
Nice play by Jagger getting the puck to the net. And, usually in a game like this, it's kind of an ugly goal. And that was an ugly one, but we enjoyed it. We enjoy the win, and I'll get a little bit of rest and get ready for Minnesota.
Michigan State is now 7-11-2 on the season. They take on the 4th-ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers tonight and tomorrow night. Michigan State men's and women's soccer have not played competitive games in over 15 months, but today that finally changes. The men's squad plays Rutgers today for the first match of the season, but DeMartin will stand like this, empty. The two play at Schoolcraft College in Livonia with no fans in attendance. This year marks Damon Rinsing's 12th year as head coach after a 3-12-3 record last season. Rinsing welcomes 10 new faces to the program this year between freshmen and transfers. Women's skipper Tom Saxon opens his 30th season with 10 new players as well. The Spartans women were 1-9-1 last time out in Big Ten conference play. The men's team faced the Scarlet Knights at 1 p.m. and the women's team place Saturday on the road at Maryland. That's what's happening in sports. I'm Leah Mitchell. Sade, back to you.
An art showcase and a music video topped this week's entertainment around town. Taylor Goldenwise joins us now with the details. Taylor?
To sports, the East Lansing Downtown Development Authority are hosting 3 community art exhibits in downtown East Lansing. The department partnered with East Lansing teachers to display students' work downtown. The first exhibit is titled East Lansing High School Strong, where digital photography is featured at 15 local businesses. EL staff and students aim to promote positivity and support for downtown shops. English and art teacher Jacqueline Carroll wanted to recognize her students' work and bring some economy to the area.
It's lovely to be inspired by these photographs, but one of the main reasons why they're downtown is that it's for people to actually go into businesses and purchase things so that we don't have a decimated downtown.
For 87 photographs, these art pieces will be up until February 27th when the next exhibit begins. One of America's favorite villains is returning to the big screen, but this time she returns, it will look a little bit different.
From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else.
You may know Cruella de Vil from Disney's 101 Dalmatians, but this time she will star in her very own movie. However, this film is a little different than what we've seen of Cruella before. It focuses on her backstory. Starring Emma Stone, viewers will be shown what it was like when Cruella was young, long before she tried to turn those innocent Dalmatians into a fur coat. Cruella will be in theaters May 28th. And that's what's happening in entertainment this week. I'm Taylor Goldenwise.
Thanks, Taylor. In today's Focal Point finale, it wouldn't be a college campus without a few local pizza shops. Brianna Idzior is live now at one popular pizza place in East Lansing that has seen an increase in traffic recently. Brianna, what's the reason?
Well, Sade, it may have something to do with the fact that a special guest visited here recently. I'm here at Giorgio's where Dave Portnoy, the founder of the popular sports and pop culture blog, visited just weeks ago to try their pizza. He's a U of M grad and now travels the country doing pizza reviews. Well, this time he got to see how Spartan Nation does it, pizza style.
How are you guys doing? Good. It's a name as familiar as Tom Izzo.
We've been here for almost 26 years now.
And like Izzo, Giorgio's calls East Lansing home.
That's why we chose this location, because it was in the middle of everything, especially the bars.
And of all the years here, this last one could be the toughest for its owner, Maria Ruska.
Well, when it comes to business, we're at least 50% less on the business, at least. We're hoping pretty soon everything will go back to a little bit normal anyway.
But something unexpected happened that sort of gave this institution a shot in the arm. When the famous man who reviews pizza places walked through these doors.
Oh, he caught me off guard.
The popular online reviewer Dave Portnoy, who founded Barstool, showed up.
Because I watch him every day. I don't follow where he goes every time. Like, I didn't even know he was in Michigan that particular day.
Portnoy gave Giorgio's a score of 6.8.
The customers were more upset with his review than us, you know, because they said, oh, you should have gotten more. I said, that's fine. That was a good score for us.
But that didn't matter because it brought in
a lot of new people, a lot of new customers. Today, again, I had a new kid came in. He says, you know, I came in because I saw Dave Portnoy was here, you know.
But Giorgio's isn't the only place that Portnoy visited. He made a second stop here.
Bell's Pizza, one of the oldest pizza place still existing in town.
Another favorite of MSU students.
Alumni come a year later for a game or something, first thing they think about to stop at Bell's Pizza.
Bell's owner Habib was also not expecting to see Dave.
Well, there Portnoy was a surprise for us. I saw all the students, they coming, trying to take a selfie with him. Then I asked one of them, who is this guy? And he told me who he is.
But now, he's someone Habib won't forget.
The day they posted his visit, our revenue doubled.
Dave's 6.9 rating of Bell's is still leaving an impact. But Habib is certainly not complaining.
For him visiting, he gave us a good boost for the business. I mean, we like him to visit once a week, will be nice. So this business will be good.
If you want to watch Dave Portnoy's taste test for yourself, you can go to his YouTube channel called One Bite Pizza Reviews. Well, I think I might go grab my own slice to try. For now, Katie and Sade, back to you.
Thank you, Brianna. That wraps up this week's edition of Focal Point, but we will be back right here next week. I'm Katie Schroeder.
And I'm Sade Moore. Thank you for watching and have a safe weekend.